Hello, I'm Izzy Wells and you're listening to Taiwan Uncovered, where we look at the creative scene in Taiwan. I hope you all enjoyed last week's episode where I spoke to Tawei and Amber from The Cave. Now, today I will be bringing you part 2. In this episode, we're going to learn more about the underground music scene in Taiwan, its history, and get to know Tawei and Amber a little bit better. Now, at the end of last week's episode, I left you on a bit of a cliffhanger. Tawei and Amber were about to share the most stressful event they've ever put on. So I'm going to drop you straight back into where our conversation left off. Going back to putting on the events and the kind of the stress involved, was the particularly like high stress event? Would you say it's the one you spoke about, or has there been any other kind of events where it's been like really stressful?
I think after that we did another outdoor party at Hualien.
There's a theme. It's always the outdoor parties.
Outdoor is high stress.
Yeah, sorry.
You have to be blessed.
Yeah.
You have to be like blessed by God.
Yeah.
So I think because the success of the Stone Age Paradise, so we decided to do another one. So we do it at Hualien. I think during the time of HIHater, maybe people heard about it. There's a free market, and thousands of people will be at Hualien that during the week. So we did this party at that weekend. The location was in a a wasted military base.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Military bunker.
Yeah.
Was it creepy?
A little bit. But I think it's the only spot that we can use. I went to Hualien for 2 weeks just to find a spot that might work out. And I think that's the final result that we had. But still, that party was shut down by the cops.
Oh.
I think around 12 o'clock midnight.
So that's tough when the police are getting involved. Is it because of the noise?
Because of the noise. And that's I totally
funny story.
I totally understand why they are super pissed off of it, because the location at the event was on the upper hill road. You have to walk 15 minutes.
And we set a gate at the entrance to stop all the cars. So they have to stop the car at the bottom and then walk up hills for 15 minutes for I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
Oh.
And then the last time they were I'm gonna stand here till you turn off the power.
And there was 300 people. They are waiting for party. And that's pretty I don't know how to.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that you can do about that, right? And then is there not a pre-agreed arrangement with when you rent out a space that they have to let you use it? It's not.
We actually did this. We have our permission for the using of this.
Right.
Yeah, we had that. But there's a noise law. I think maybe not only in Taiwan. I think every city or country have this same law. You cannot use a loudspeaker after 10 p.m.
Oh. Maybe as well this kind of, I don't know, area of law as well is more specific in that people are quite, the police get involved quite a lot, and people really respect and trust the police here, and I don't know whether it's the same in the UK. I think people sometimes kind of just let it go, but it's really tough if you guys are putting on these events and there's very tough standards to meet. Would they be just turn it down a bit and you can carry on, or is it a full-on no, you have to end it?
It really depends. Yeah. Sometimes if we lower the volume and no one complains again, it will be fine. But if there's someone keeps complaining, then we have to shut down.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually even had once, this is digressing, but a neighbor complain about the noise level in my apartment, but I was watching TV.
What?
And I think maybe they must have been it must have been a mistake, because I was home alone watching TV and the police turn up and they're I think my boyfriend opens the door and he's yeah, what's going on? And they're oh, there's been a noise complaint. And I'm this is crazy. This is crazy. I was literally on on my own. I don't understand. Maybe they got confused.
I had that once.
Yeah.
I was chatting with my friend and we were not even drunk. We wasn't drinking or anything. We were just like 3 girls chatting, and then we got complaint, and then police came.
Come on, like chatting away. Oh. There's also been police raids a lot in clubs recently. That's could be challenging, I feel like, for a lot of venues and stuff. In terms of the challenges of putting on these events, is it mainly, would you say, to do with the police, or are there other kind of challenges that you guys have to deal with when putting on these kind of events?
So I think it's a really complicated situation, because the city planning thing, like I think for UK, the resident area and the commercial area was very separated, but in Taiwan, like usually we do everything together. Like there is maybe a restaurant and then upstairs is someone living there, things like that, and there's a club and then someone living upstairs. Yes, that's one of the reasons that it makes really hard. And then the other thing is, I think majority of the Taiwanese people thinks that party equals drug and crime. Yeah, drinking equals like bad behavior, things like that. So it really affect the attitude for police to react.
Yeah, one of my friends, she was like doing like DJing like Latino music, and like I feel like those events are like very chill and whatever, but she was saying like how her family were not happy because they think that like, oh, if you're a DJ, it's like nightlife, it's all these other things. And yeah, so it's a good, I guess that's an interesting point about as well what people associate with. And when you're selecting artists for your events, how do you balance between selecting more well-known DJs in the scene with new and upcoming like talent?
I think we select DJ, the style comes first. If you have the style that matches us, and it doesn't really matter, do you have that many followers? Yeah, we are always like looking for new sound.
What is your style then that you look for?
I think like hard, fast, and exciting.
Yeah.
And interesting stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Don't focus on one genre. Yeah, we are like always open with something
Mixing
I never
it
heard.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. I guess like that keeps it fun for sure, and different and unique. And the genres of music being played in your events, I guess, are more kind of underground genres in Taiwan, like techno, drum and bass, gabba. From your experience, has there always been this appetite among Taiwanese people for these music genres? I know we talked about like the raves and stuff, but yeah, I'm interested in has that always been something that people have been interested in, these types of music? Has the audience grown at all?
Yeah. Actually, there was a record internet label, they called. There was an era of that MySpace, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
and there was a record label based in Taichung, I believe, called Social Path. And I think that guy will be the original providing this kind of stuff, and he had release music on the internet, but the artist is from worldwide, and some of them are kind of big names right now in those like breakcore or something, more separated genre. And I think that is the original stuff, but now this drum and bass and hard techno stuff, I think it like people to get to know because of the internet, actually. Because Instagram, they like putting a lot of information on the social media platform. Even some old labels, maybe they started like the 90s, but they started to like have an IG account right now, like maybe these year they're like trying to grow their audience base. And these party footage always look like, oh man, these guys are like having a good time. I think that these things combine together and spread the message.
I guess, yeah, the internet's changed everything, right? And also in terms of like the music genre is also coming from like other areas of the world, I feel like that's allowed people here as well to kind of get into different genres.
Because like these things are like always there actually. And when they started, they're just like, sometimes you thought maybe this kind of music are like going down, going to die. Nobody's like listening and party it. Then some young kids will like just pop out.
Yeah.
So I think we won't be we ain't the first, and we won't be the last.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So within these kind of genres of music, how are your artists? I mean, we spoke a bit about how like the genres as well, it's like, you know, originating in like the US, UK, whatever. But how are your artists and DJs from Cave Records and in your events making these genres their own, or even, you know, making it kind of uniquely sounds from Taiwan as such?
Yeah, we are always like mixing these genres, not like maybe some of promoters that like to focus on one genre. Maybe they will say this is a techno party, so they techno all night. We don't do stuff like that, and we love to mix things all up, just like all kind of genre. Yeah, we don't focus on one thing, so maybe that could turn out to be something special for us. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Old genre, but harder, faster.
Yeah. 'Cause, you know, like Taiwan is like always been this like culture mix up. So maybe it might be the reason. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. And you've also held mask parties or balaclava parties. And one of your posters, it's like mask on, dance hard.
Yeah.
Is there something significant about kind of anonymity in raving?
Yeah, because like this kind of like dress up and culture, it comes from this the root of this kind of party. Because like people, it was illegal. It was illegal before even maybe showing up at these kind of place. There was a law that banned repeating music at UK. I think it's 1994.
Yeah.
So like raving is illegal. So maybe people and some DJ that putting on music like that, it might risk his, you know, might make it busted for that. So they are like starting to put mask on, and people involving it is like hiding their identity. But I think now for us it's like it's cool.
Yeah.
And we are like trying to send out messages about these kind of history.
Yeah.
That's
interesting. Thanks for educating me on my history. And this is a fun one. It's like the dinner party question, where it's like, oh, if you could invite someone to a dinner party, who would it be? Live or dead? But here we're gonna do if you could put on an event with 3 artists, alive or dead, who would you choose?
I go first.
Amber, you're up.
So my first one was Taylor Swift.
Yes, I love it.
So the next one's Faye Wong.
Hong Kong artist.
Yeah.
Hong Kong.
Yes, yeah. My flatmate's a big fan.
Yeah. And the third one is Mandidextrous. She is a producer, DJ, doing like speed bass, rave,
jungle tech.
Yes, nice.
And she's like, I think 50 years old.
Oh my god, love it.
And a trance.
Oh,
She's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And the music she make is amazing.
Yeah, amazing. I'll have to check them out.
I think she had this label called Amen for Techno.
Ah.
Yeah. So if you're interested,
I'll
check it out.
definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
Amazing. And what about you, Tawei?
Mine will be The Prodigy. Yeah, and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
if possible.
this is from your rock days.
Yeah. And the last one will be Kendrick Lamar.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll make the money.
And in terms of Taiwan's talent in the underground music space, could you give us any suggestions for artists, DJs to watch out for?
Yeah, of course. SoniaCalico is a girl DJ and producer. I think she collab with a lot of international label. Yeah, definitely have to check her out.
Amazing.
And KITrust, I think he is the main producer of his band called OVDS. It's like a Taiwan dance rock electro music band.
Mm.
Yeah, and he had a lot of like his own project
Oh, cool.
called KITrust. And Lin Zhaoyu, he has this another name called HIHater, and like doing this like synthwave stuff and some hard kicking gabber. Yeah, he do hard music.
Nice.
And Choi Ling is also a producer, but more like ambient style, and he do a lot of like commercial music, but all quality.
Yeah, nice.
And Rain Liu is like a drum and bass producer, and the last one will be myself.
Nice. You started with Cave Records, you're doing the podcast, the events, the zine. What is the vision for the future? Could the Cave end up being like its own radio station, becoming a platform like Hong Kong Community Radio?
We are actually thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yes. But we wanted to do more like audio visual stuff, like with like VJs and DJs to do like a DJ station.
Yeah, we were like trying to focus more on this visual stuff, because like this VR generation is coming up.
I'll say audio visual showcase. Showroom.
Oh, cool.
The concept.
That would be very cool. Yeah.
Because we're kind of inspiring by this amazing venue at London, maybe called Printwork.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're like totally inspired by that. Yeah.
I've got some UK fans, I'm sensing.
Definitely are.
You know more about the UK than me. So you've been to the UK?
Not yet.
Oh yeah.
Not yet.
But Primworks will be on your list.
Yeah, definitely.
Next year for sure.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm excited to see, where everything goes, and best of luck to you both. Are there any upcoming events that we can look forward to?
So we have this New Year's Eve event.
As usual.
Yeah, every
it's
year.
Always a stress every time. It's like Halloween, New Year's. I'm always I need to what am I going to be doing? And
yeah. You have to put out something big, right?
Yeah.
So we have this IP event that we do every year. So on 31st of December, it's called the Great Galactic Drift 2024.
Nice. Where will that be?
It will be in Taichung.
In Taichung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
maybe before that, we'll have this like a secret free party coming up. Yeah, so just have to follow us.
Okay,
and might be a collab with a Japan label.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And so we'll have this like international artist from Japan. It's going to be a free party. So
amazing.
we will throw out the information later.
Perfect. Anything free.
It's our first free party.
Amazing.
We've never done free party before.
I guess how do free parties work? Do you end up just losing money but putting for the greater good of putting on this event, or how does it work?
We're still figuring out, but most of the comes out our own budget. But we just want to make things happen.
Yeah, and I think that's cool in that, like you said, you were saying about making inclusive, accessible. When stuff is free, there's no excuse. Yeah. Amazing. And if we want to find out more about the Cave and what you guys are doing, follow you guys, where should we look?
So you can follow our Instagram. It's called the cave.tw. THECAVE.TW, and then our YouTube channel, The Cave TW.
Yeah, so go follow
us. My IG account is FTK is killing it. and
me is KER Amber, KER Amber.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a lovely speaking to you both. And thank you for listening to Uncovered. I will see you all next week. Bye.
Yay.